Imagine this opening shot. Night, desert, moonlight. The pyramids of Giza are not a futuristic construction site, but old, cracked giants. Their smooth casing stones have been stripped away. The inner passages have long since been looted. The ancient quarry canals are dry. The Sphinx is buried up to its neck in sand, just a strange head sticking out of the dune. For people of the New Kingdom, the Great Pyramids are already a 1,000-year-old relic. By this time, Egyptians are literally living among the ruins of their own golden age. They can point at Giza and say, "Our ancestors built that. We're not entirely sure how." Around them are abandoned quarries, dried-out channels, weathered inscriptions that not everyone can still read. Even for the ancient Egyptians of the 16th century BCE, Egypt is already a land with archaeology. Yet it all began in a very different mood. The people of the Nile Valley once sat in a surprisingly safe bathtub between deserts and sea. To the west and east stretched harsh sands, to the north the Mediterranean. The Sinai was difficult to cross. There were neighbors, but they were smaller, poorer, and less organized. Egypt was big, fertile, and blessed with the predictable rhythm of the Nile flood. In that situation, a professional standing army did not feel essential. If trouble appeared, you could muster farmers with clubs and spears, and usually that was enough to push back almost anyone nearby. On that feeling of security and uniqueness, the Old Kingdom was built. Vast pyramid projects, centrally organized labor, a king who was not just a ruler, but a god on earth, and a quiet certainty that this system would last forever. But no forever survives contact with reality. Nile floods grew more erratic, harvests faltered, the gap between rich and poor widened, ambitious nobles pulled power towards themselves. The central state weakened, provinces grew bolder, and the great pyramid-shaped machine of the Old Kingdom started to crack. It collapsed, gave way to centuries of turmoil, and then to the Middle Kingdom, Egypt's second attempt to pull itself together and explain to its people what kind of world they were living in now. By the 16th century BCE, Egypt has already risen once, fallen once, and been rebuilt once. On paper, things look under control. There is bureaucracy, ideology, and the memory of past mistakes. And it is exactly at this point that people arrive from the north and northeast who will shatter Egypt's comfortable picture of the world, the Hyksos. When the Hyksos arrive, they are not just some new tribe on the border. They bring things Egypt has never really faced before. Fast horse-drawn chariots, new types of composite bows, stronger metal weapons, and different ways of fighting. For a kingdom that had spent 1,500 years solving most problems with numbers, irrigation, and stonework, this kind of warfare is a shock to the system. And these newcomers are not simple destroyers who sack a place and ride off. They like what they see. The Hyksos move into the eastern Nile Delta, turn a town called Avaris into their power base, and settle in. They take Egyptian titles, use Egyptian royal imagery, build temples to Egyptian gods alongside their own. In later king lists, their 15th dynasty appears almost like any other. Formally, they are Pharaohs of Egypt. In reality, they are a foreign elite sitting on top of the richest part of the country. The map now looks very different from the age of the pyramids. The Hyksos control the whole fat north, the delta, and much of Middle Egypt, with its ports, fields, and trade routes to the Levant. Further south, along the narrower stretch of the Nile, a different Egypt is hanging on. Around the city, the Greeks will later call Thebes, and the Egyptians themselves call Waset. A local dynasty survives with far fewer resources, but with a powerful idea. We are the real Egypt, and those in the delta are usurpers. Between Hyksos in the north and Theban rulers in the south stretches a long, tense frontier. Raids, skirmishes, and sieges drag on for generations, roughly a century and a half of grinding conflict. In this pressure cooker, Egypt begins to change. A civilization that once boasted mainly of pyramids and temples now has to learn something new: how to become a serious military power or disappear. From the Theban point of view, this is not just a border war. It is a fight against chaos itself. In temple stories and political propaganda, the Hyksos begin to merge with the forces of disorder. Foreign faces, foreign gods, strange weapons, and a capital in the delta that feels like another planet compared to traditional Upper Egypt. The world that once seemed closed and protected has suddenly grown teeth. Under this pressure, Egypt hardens. The Theban court starts copying what once shocked them: chariots, new bows, better armor, more disciplined troops. Pharaoh is no longer just a distant figure who builds temples and poses as a god. He has to turn into a war leader again, someone who rides into battle, bleeds, and can actually lose. For the first time in many centuries, the survival of Egypt depends not on stone monuments, but on how well its rulers can fight. While Egyptians and Hyksos are grinding each other down along the Nile, nature quietly adds its own twist to the story. In the mid-16th century BCE, a massive volcano erupts on the island of Thera, modern Santorini, in the Aegean Sea. Ash and dust spread across the eastern Mediterranean. Storms and strange weather hit many coasts, and Egypt seems to feel some of these aftershocks as years of unusual floods, crop failures, and weird phenomena. Later storytellers will remember this kind of period as a time of plagues, darkness, and the sky gone wrong. For the Hyksos, this is especially bad timing. Their main god is set up in ways that Egyptian priests in Thebes associate more and more with storm, violence, and chaos. Now the skies themselves are raging. Odd rains, bad floods, maybe even red-tinged water, and swarms of animals in the wrong season. In Theban ideology, the message almost writes itself. Look what happens when Egypt is ruled by people who play to chaos. The land answers them with chaos. Out of this atmosphere steps a Theban ruler named Chamos. In later inscriptions, he is presented as the first who dares to strike a real blow against the Hyksos, not just skirmish. One famous text has him complaining that Egypt is cut in two. Hyksos ruling in the north, Nubians pressing in from the south, and Thebes squeezed in the middle. Instead of accepting this, Chamos rides out. His campaigns do not yet destroy the Hyksos state, but they do something just as important. They prove it can be hurt. For the first time in about 150 years, someone in Upper Egypt can claim a solid battlefield victory over the kings of foreign lands. After Chamos, the war against the Hyksos stops being a question of if and turns into a question of when. His campaigns shake their confidence and show the rest of Egypt that these foreign kings are not invincible. Chamos himself will not live to finish the job, but he passes on something even more valuable than territory: momentum and a clear enemy. The final push comes with Ahmose, the founder of the 18th dynasty. As a young king, he picks up exactly where Chamos left off, attacking Hyksos strongholds in Middle Egypt, then driving north. He captures key forts and cities, cuts the Hyksos capital Avaris off from its allies in Canaan, and turns the war into a siege. From there, he does what no Egyptian had managed for generations. He forces the Hyksos out of the delta and chases them all the way into southern Canaan, to a stronghold called Sharuhen, which falls only after a brutal 3-year campaign. We see this not just in royal boasts, but in the career of one very real soldier, Ahmose, son of Abana. In his tomb biography, he proudly lists each campaign, each enemy he killed, each severed hand he brought back as proof, and how the king rewarded him with gold, slaves, and land. For him, the fall of Avaris and the long pursuit of the Hyksos are not distant events, but the turning points of his own life. Through his eyes, the expulsion of the Hyksos is not just a political change. It is the birth of a new kind of Egypt, where military success can lift a man from a modest family into the provincial elite. Back in Thebes, this new Egypt is not built by Ahmose alone. 2 women stand right at the foundation stone of the new kingdom: his grandmother Tetisheri and his mother Ahotep. Ahmose later raises a tall limestone stela for Tetisheri, calling her the mother of my mother and the mother of my father, and orders a pyramid and memorial house for her at Abydos, like a public announcement that the whole victorious dynasty grows from her line. Ahotep, meanwhile, is the one who holds Egypt together while Ahmose is still a child and then away at war. In later inscriptions, she is praised for calming rebellions, keeping Thebes loyal, and even ununiting the fugitives and pacifying Upper Egypt when Hyksos sympathizers try to spark civil war behind the front. As thanks, Ahmose showers her with honor, weapons, and the famous golden flies of valor, a military decoration cast as a piece of jewelry. In a culture obsessed with kings, this is as close as it gets to admitting that, for a while, the person who actually saved Egypt was a queen. By the time Ahmose is done, Egypt is no longer the cautious, inward-looking state of the Old and Middle Kingdoms. It has a battle-tested army, a ruling house that rose to power through war, and a new habit. If danger appears on the horizon, you do not wait for it to come to you. You ride out to meet it. One more ingredient makes this new kingdom explosively powerful: gold. Nubia and the eastern desert are thick with deposits, and under the early 18th dynasty kings, Egypt starts exploiting them on a new scale. Fortresses and colonial towns anchor Egyptian control along the Nile. Convoys of ore and bullion move north. For a while, gold is so abundant that in Egypt it can be worth only slightly more than silver, an almost unthinkable ratio anywhere else in the ancient world. That river of metal will fund temples, palaces, and the long foreign campaigns that make New Kingdom Egypt an empire. From here, the New Kingdom grows under successors like Thutmose I, who push Egypt's reach even farther. To the south, he campaigns beyond the Fourth Nile Cataract, crushing rebellions and turning much of Nubia into something close to a royal mining estate, dotted with garrisons and quarry towns. To the north and northeast, Egypt begins to intervene in Syria-Canaan, not just to punish old Hyksos allies, but to control the trade routes, timber, metals, and oils that had once flowed through foreign hands. All of this reshapes what it means to be a pharaoh. In Old Kingdom art, the king is a distant god figure tied to eternal stone. In the early New Kingdom, he is expected to be a warrior first, a mighty bull trampling enemies, a charioteer who can bend a bow, lead charges, and personally claim kills. Official inscriptions and temple reliefs dwell on muscular bodies, chariots at full speed, and foreign chiefs kneeling in submission. Egypt has not forgotten that it is a land of builders and priests, but after the shock of the Hyksos, it has decided that its gods now wear armor as well. With all this in place, Egypt steps into the age most people think of when they hear the words Pharaoh of the New Kingdom. The Hyksos are gone, Nubian gold is flowing, the army is hardened, and Thebes has become both a political and a religious capital under the rising god Amun-Ra. From here, the story shifts from survival to ambition. The next rulers of the 18th dynasty will not just defend Egypt's borders, they will turn it into a true Near Eastern superpower, build some of its most famous temples and tombs, and push Egyptian armies farther than they have ever gone before. This is the world of powerful queens like Hatshepsut and conquering kings like Thutmose III, the next chapter of the New Kingdom.